Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. Make yourself feel at home. I am Sam and I'm an Australian-based online counsellor for INFJs, introverts and gentle souls. I want to talk with you about INFJs and people pleasing. I feel like this is a topic that comes up quite often in INFJ Facebook groups, and as a past chronic people pleaser, I thought this would be a great topic for us to dive into today. I would like to point out that not all INFJs are people pleasers, just like not all people pleasers are INFJs. However, I think people pleasing can be common in the INFJ more so than other personality types. What is people pleasing? Firstly, let's look at the Merriam-Webster dictionary on their definition of what a people pleaser is. A people pleaser is someone or something that pleases or wants to please people. It's often a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs or desires. Going by that definition, that's why it's so important that we talk about this topic and learn how not to be such people pleasers, because even though you may naturally want to help others and naturally be there for your friends, if you don't be careful, it can become to the detriment of your own self-care, of your own needs, of your own need to look after yourself. The reason why I think INFJs can struggle with people pleasing is because of the way that we're made up, the way that we're wired. It's our whole personality, really. We have such a strong intuition, and we also pick up on the feelings of others. We are the type of people that are able to read very easily the body language of others, probably more so than other personality types. When we see one of our friends, or it could even be a stranger, we can become people pleasers to strangers. We can often pick up on what their behavior is and intuitively see what they're hoping our answer will be. And because we can feel their feelings, we can pick up when they feel disappointed if we don't do what they want us to do. And that can be very uncomfortable for some INFJs. Some INFJs do everything they can to avoid the discomfort of disappointing another person. What ends up happening is we rope ourselves into this situation where we're doing something that we don't actually want to do because we don't want to feel that other person's disappointment in us. We want them to like us. I think as humans, it's natural for us to want to be liked and want to be loved. But because we're so sensitive to seeing and feeling the feelings of others and intuitively knowing what they want, we'll do everything we can to avoid that discomfort. INFJs have such a strong empathetic nature, which means we genuinely do want to care for others and we genuinely want to help other people. That's why INFJs so often end up in fields such as counselling, social work, nursing, the people jobs, the jobs where we're helping other people. It's in our nature to want to be helpful, but unfortunately we can become so helpful and so putting ourselves out there that we forget to actually pay attention to what our body is doing and what it is that we need. This is when we end up burning the candle at two ends, because we say, yes, I'll do that, yes, I'll volunteer, yes, I'll help with that. And then we jam-pack our week, we jam-pack our days and become so busy that we forget we actually need spaciousness. We need space to be alone. We need space to be in our thoughts. We need space to feel through our feelings. We need that alone time to recharge. But when you're a people pleaser, you so quickly forget to do that because you just want to please the other people. You want to make them happy. You want them to like you. You want to be helpful for them. Generally, the INFJ really does want to do what's best for humanity. I mean, let's not talk about some of those more psychopathic INFJs, right? Like, I'm talking about the good INFJs. My people here are the gentle souls of the world. And it's those gentle souls of the world that you really do want to do good. You want to help, you want to care, you want to love people, and you certainly want them to love you back. And you'll do whatever you can for your friends and for your family, which is a very beautiful thing to have. It's a very beautiful trait to be. But at the end of the day, to help others and to care for others, it's important that you put up healthy, strong boundaries so that you can look after yourself and fill up your own cup. Because once your cup is empty, and you're giving from an empty cup, that's when things like illness happens, fatigue. That's when we become resentful. That's when we become bitter. That's when we push people away and begin to isolate ourselves. And we don't want to do that. I find that the INFJs who are people pleasers, and again, I was a people pleaser and this was my issue, is not having strong, healthy boundaries. Now, if you grew up in an environment where boundaries weren't demonstrated to you, you're not going to know what healthy boundaries actually look like. Am I right? I've got a whole video where I talk about boundaries and talk about what healthy boundaries looks like, as well as unhealthy boundaries. So you actually have 3 different types of boundaries. You have your enmeshed boundaries, which is very much on that people-pleasing spectrum. That's when we're so enmeshed with others and we become codependent that we people please. And then you have your healthy boundaries, and then you have your rigid boundaries, which is basically having walls up and not really caring about others or wanting to, you know, be helpful or flexible. You can watch that video if you want to go more into that. In that video, I've got a graphic worksheet where you can actually see what these boundary types look like. But I do want to hone in on one of the aspects of what makes a healthy boundary, and that is knowing what your values are and knowing what your needs and wants are. When you know your values and you know your needs, such as I can only see so many people in a day, and when you value your needs and value your wants, that's when it's a lot easier to say no. Did you know that you can say no? I know that's like an out there concept, but we are allowed to say no when there's an expectation for us to do something. If you genuinely can't help, you can say no. If you genuinely know that you shouldn't help because it's going to deplete your energy, you can say no. You need to come to a place of understanding what your limits are so that you don't cross over into self-sacrificing. This will feel uncomfortable at first, because the truth is, when you start saying no to people, you are going to see that flicker in their eye, that face expression, that feeling of disappointment and being let down. You will feel that and it will feel uncomfortable, but the more you practice it, the easier it gets. And the more you practice healthy boundaries with people, the more they're going to respect and value that side of you. There is so much more that we could talk about and so much more that we can unpack, but I really do love having the discussion with you and hearing your thoughts, because I don't ever want to come across like I'm the expert on INFJs. I believe that you are highly intuitive and highly wise, and I would love to hear your thoughts on people pleasing as well. Do you struggle with people pleasing? Is that a thing that you do? Are you a recovered chronic people pleaser like myself? Ooh, that was not me farting. That was the chair. Miriam? Excuse me. It's a very beautiful, my battery is about to die, so that really sucks. Do I keep going?